I got some new stories for you. Let's get started. Our first story today is from, of course, r/best of Redditor updates. It is titled Entitlement. $20 a day is too much for dog sitting now? Wild. This was originally posted on August the 2nd, 2024. So, I'm dog sitting for an acquaintance for 6 days, currently on day 3. Staying at her house because the dog is high anxiety, etc. And since I sort of know her, I said it was $20 a day. Seems cheap, right? Seems incredibly cheap, honestly. Apparently not. She texted me this afternoon to ask if I could Venmo her $80 for what she gave me because she decided that I'm overcharging. The fuck? So $20 a day for 6 days, that's $120. She wants $40 for a week of work. Obviously, no. That's fucked. Okay. Obviously, I said no, and she starts complaining that she's letting me stay in her house to do this, and I should really just be grateful I don't have to commute so much. Her house is nicer than mine, blah, blah, blah. But I brought my own food. This place doesn't have AC. Mine doesn't either. And she's also having me water all her plants inside and out. She says I'm being ungrateful and that she won't hire me again, but oh well. Good luck finding a cheaper sitter then, bitch. Edit. She's not my friend. She's a friend of a coworker that I've met a couple times. I'm wondering if I bring it up to my coworker or not because I don't want to cause tension at work. So I'll just see if their friend ends up talking shit about me with screenshots handy. That's insane. $40 for what is basically a week of work is nothing. That is less than minimum wage. No, honestly, I would have fought her because that's wild. Give me, I already paid you. Give me back $80 of the $120 for 6 days of work, and you're her house sitter, and you're watering her plants and she wants to do all that for $40. No. Absolutely. That's so entitled. One relevant comment. A commenter said, this person is a major idiot for thinking they could hire someone, prepay for the job, then request a majority of the money back halfway through the work being done. I bet when she asked you to do the work, she was the nicest ever, acting so generous to pay everything up front, then her true colors gave away her ego. Extra points if you're sleeping on a couch instead of a bed. OOP responded, I was lucky and got an air mattress, lol, though I did have to bring my own sheets. That's wild. I'm trying to fathom genuinely having the gall to ask someone to send back the majority of their pay because I decided arbitrarily that I paid them too much. Girl, go fuck yourself. What? That's insane. No. And she's already doing it for so cheap. A dog sitter is like ridiculously expensive. You could have sent it to a kennel, honestly. There's a small update on August 3rd, the next day. And they say, to begin with, let me answer some recurring questions. Will I be leaving partway through? No, I'd feel bad for the dog. Yeah, I probably wouldn't leave the dog. I mean, unless they had like one of those like automatic. No, they still gotta go out. I was gonna say, unless they have like one of those automatic feeder type things and like a doggy door. But no, poor doggy. He doesn't deserve that. Do I know that I'm severely undercharging? Yes, I figured it would be a favor for a coworker that really helped me when I first started my job, and it's the least I could do. Will I be sending the post to the dog owner or telling her to check prices? No, I'm not going to cause useless tension from a coworker that could spill into my job. That's fair. So this wasn't even like oh, I know this person, they're great, I'm going to dog sit for them. It was literally like, oh, my coworker is cool, this is their friend, I'll just do it, it's cool. All right. How am I surviving off this meager pay? I have 2 actual jobs, so money isn't a huge issue. Now on to the update. I got into work today and the first thing my coworker says to me is, I'm so sorry about EB, entitled bitch. Which honestly, Very kind. 10 out of 10. Glad they're sticking up for me. The gist of it is EB texted my coworker complaining about how I'm overcharging and being ungrateful, and my coworker got upset on my behalf. They know how much I charge for this because they're the one who helped me set it up. And we've been coworkers long enough that they know I'm not like that. They offered to watch the dog in my stead and told me if I wanted, I could send back the money I got from EB and they'd pay me instead for the hassle. But to be honest, this dog's cute as fuck and I've gotten this far, so a couple more days won't kill me. I asked if any communication between EB and I could go through my coworker and they agreed. So there's that. That being said, I will be indulging in ice cream the day EB gets back and letting my lactose intolerance do the rest before I scoot. Yeah, that's wild. How are you gonna tell someone, hey, I know I gave you your paycheck, give me back most of your paycheck, because I decided you should. What? No. What's wrong with you? I'm glad OP has like such a good coworker, because a lot of people would have been like, well, that's not my business, you two work it out, and she knows, no, that's really shitty. That's really shitty, and you deserve better than that. I'm glad OP has such a good coworker. Alright, especially like in the middle of the job too. She's only halfway through with the job. She's in your house, you dummy. What if she decided to like get mad and trash your house? Which obviously she didn't, but what if? Like that's so stupid to me. That's dumb. That's dumb. Alright. So for story number 2, this was originally posted in the Am I the Asshole subreddit, was reposted to r/best of Redditor updates, and it does have a trigger warning. The trigger warning is for coercion. The title says, Am I the asshole for buying condoms in case my spouse changed their mind? That doesn't seem good. That doesn't seem good at all. This was originally posted on November 4th, 2019. And he says, I'm keeping this all very concise, but these events took place over 10 to 12 hours. We were at a friend's party where we'd be sleeping over. Spouse said, I don't want to have sex tonight, and later, we don't even have condoms. So when we finished dinner, I, quietly since we were with friends, went and bought condoms just in case they later changed their mind. I wanted to make sure safe sex was an option if something changed. It was a party after all, and we'd both be drinking. Ew. Yeah, you are the asshole. Spouse says that the act of going to the store and buying condoms ignored their consent, and that I should know that no means no, and I should apologize for buying them. They also said that buying condoms was pressuring them to change their mind. I said that I wanted to be prepared for the future and ironically prevent problems. Am I the asshole for buying the condoms? Specifically, does the act of buying the condoms mean that I'm ignoring their consent? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah, because one, you first said, you asked, they said, I don't want to have sex tonight. And then later, we don't even have condoms. So they said, period, point blank, I don't want to have sex tonight. And you asked again later that day. Yeah, you are the asshole automatically. Why are you asking again? If they changed their mind, I'm assuming they would tell you, if they were truly comfortable telling you that, you would know. So them saying, I don't want to have sex, and then you asking again later, them saying, we don't even have condoms, you thought, oh yeah, I'll just go out and get condoms and then we can have sex. It's cool. It's fine. No, you dickhead. What? They already said they don't want to sleep with you tonight. What's wrong with you? And then you're like, well, we're at a party. We'll be drinking. She might change her mind. Why are you banking on your spouse being drunk so you can fuck them, you weirdo? What's wrong with you? What? Yeah, you're the asshole. Yes, you're the asshole. So, before verdicts could even be rendered, OP removed their post. It turns out that the wife in the situation responded on the same day. And they said, I'm the spouse in question. It's obviously totally okay to buy condoms just in case. This is a very strange telling of the real issue. Yeah, see, I know it's not like a just in case thing, especially if your spouse has already said, hey, I don't want to have sex multiple times. That's not a just in case. You weren't doing, this is the bad faith argument that the original OP was doing. Like, you didn't buy them just in case. You bought them because you thought you could badger your spouse into changing their mind. Anyway, It's obviously totally okay to buy condoms just in case. This is a very strange telling of the real issue. We were with a group of close friends for the weekend. Unbeknownst to me, a girl joined the group whom I'd said earlier in the week I'd found cute and jokingly said maybe she'd be down for a threesome someday. Of course there's more. I knew there'd be more. There's always more, you know? I had only met her once and had no clue she'd be joining for the weekend. My spouse got very excited to see her and said to me, maybe this is the weekend we'll finally try a threesome. I clearly said, no, I don't want to try anything. Feels weird to try a hit on a perfect stranger when she's new to the friend group. I'm not interested and I definitely don't want to do anything this weekend. My spouse went on to flirt with her all night while I chatted with our friends. He was drunk and had eaten edibles and told me many times he was disappointed I wasn't flirting with this girl. FYI, I'm straight but open to new sexual experiences. I knew it. I knew he was badgering her. So like, she says, hey, I don't want to do this. And he's like, well, maybe if I just flirt with the other person, it's fine. And we'll just get to do it anyway. Jackass. I got irritated that he kept deeply sighing and I kept reiterating, no, sorry, I don't want this. But laughed it off at the time so as not to rock the boat. Before dinner, he ran off to the store to, I thought, get allergy meds. When he later showed me the condoms, I was angry that despite me saying no many times, he kept progressing down the road to potentially having the scenario play out. Yeah, so that was my thing, in the first part even, where he was like, well, what if she changes her mind? What if we get really drunk? And it's like, dude, she said no. The no didn't change, and you asked multiple times, she still said no. What are you doing? Why are you being this way? She's clearly expressed she does not want to have sex with this other person, or with you for that matter. While in no way did he threaten me, get angry, or touch her or me, I was angry that despite several no's, he kept acting sad/disappointed/frustrated, and made me feel guilty for my no. It also made me feel shitty that this girl probably thought she was making a new friend, and he in reality was only animated and acting interested in her to push it towards something sexual. And that sucks doubly for the new girl because it sucks when you think you can make a male friend because they're already in a relationship. So you're thinking, oh, they already have someone. I don't have to worry about them flirting with me because they're in a relationship. They already know they're taken. So we can just be friends. And then it's like, no, actually, he's a piece of shit. Like, that sucks. That sucks. This sucks for both women. Hence, is he the asshole? When I told him the next day I was grumpy and told him he'd ignored my wishes, he got angry and said I accused him of being a rapist. The fight escalated with me refusing to budge and him getting angry and angrier for being upset with him. He says that I was essentially being a cock tease by saying a girl was cute and then ignoring the maybe once in a lifetime chance to do this before we get old. Ugh. I think I'd rather do something where I feel comfortable and in control of how it happens versus drunk and stuck in a small house with all of my relatively conservative dear friends. He told me he'd posted this here and to check it out, FYI, hence my follow-up. God, this guy sucks. He sucks. Also, so for those of you who don't know, somehow, coercion is rape, by the way. Coercion is sexual assault. If someone says no, and then you badger them and badger them and badger them until they say yes, that's not consent. You're a rapist. You have raped them. They did not want to do this, and you forced them into it. You cannot consistently badger someone into having sex with you and then think that's okay. And he knows that. He just doesn't care. Also, if you're in a relationship discussing maybe having a threesome with someone, that needs to be a whole discussion, not your partner said something as a one-off and you run with it. That's not how that works. You did not sit down and have a conversation about it and discuss boundaries and rules. Like, this guy sucks. He sucks so much. And if you're out there, if you're listening to this, and your partner is trying to badger you into having a threesome with someone, sit down, take stock of your relationship, and ask yourself, is a relationship where I'm badgered into doing things I don't want to do a relationship I want to be in? Because I guarantee you, it is not. This sucks. He sucks. And I really want her to leave him. So there's a few relevant comments, and we'll just go over those. Hey, have a good day said, are you staying with this guy? The wife replied, "Yes, we got married recently." So you've just gotten married. This is your newlywed spouse, and you're trying to badger them into a threesome with another person they barely know? That's insane. That's insane. Someone else commented, "Oh God, I'm so sorry to hear that. He seems like a real piece of work who values his pleasure over your comfort." Yep, had a reason. Someone else asked, "Did you have any reason to think this woman would be interested in having a threesome prior to the trip?" She replied, "I don't think so. We'd met her for a few hours earlier in the week at a social gathering, and she seemed friendly. She was touchy-feely with everyone, including me and my husband, but also with other people, and said that she gets handsy when she's drunk. I took that to mean that she was overall flirty, not that she was ripe for the picking. He says that the fact that she flirted with both of us meant she might have been interested, and that if I had put more effort into making it happen, a dream of his could have come true. But that since I didn't, he has every right to be disappointed and express the disappointment to me." So that's another part of it. If someone says no, and then you have a hissy fit about it, you suck. They said no. Deal with it, be disappointed, keep that to yourself, and move on. You don't get to sit there and pout and make them feel bad for not wanting to sleep with you. They don't have to sleep with you, you weirdo. Also, you barely know this girl. You didn't even have a conversation with her. You've barely spoken to her. Thinking she's gonna jump into bed with you and your wife? You're a weirdo. Someone else said, "I think everyone else has really covered how much of the asshole he is to you, but wow, this poor girl, she's hanging out with a new friend group and one of the married guys is treating her like a sex object for his threesome fantasies. If he had propositioned her, she would have felt extremely pressured because you're a couple in her new friend group. And doing that to a stranger you have no idea would be interested, who is just trying to be friends with you in your group, is a major dick move. I feel horrible for her and you. Please be careful and take care of yourself." Yeah, because that's what's really getting me. Like, you barely know this person. She's coming into the group like, oh my God, they're all couples. There's already like this sort of dynamic that I'm not really a part of. And she's, trying to fit in. And she's thinking, oh wow, I'm really hitting it off with this guy. We're really good friends now. Or we're on our way to be really good friends. And it just turns out he wants to sleep with me. Like, that sucks. That sucks for her and the wife. Like, they deserve better. I also hate how in the first post he left out. So shitty people do this all the time. They'll leave out a bunch of context and make you be like, well, I only did this one little thing. So you asked your wife if you wanted to have a threesome. She said no. She said, I don't want to have sex with this person. End of story. Then later in the day, you kept badgering her to try to get her to change her mind. She said no repeatedly. You went out to get condoms, even though she said she was not having sex with this person. You came back, showed her the condoms, and was like, well, I want to have a threesome, so what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you that you think this is okay? Why do you think your pleasure and what you want matters more than the consent of two other people? You're the asshole, OP, original guy. You suck. And I hope your wife leaves you. Alright. The last one just really pissed me off. Like, I hate how people would just sort of do whatever they want, and then when they get any pushback, they'll act like they're like, it's the end of the world. Like, dude, she said no. That's the end of it's end of the story. It's done. No. Move on. Go away. We're gonna move on to my next story, because that one's making me angry. The title of this story is my fiance's best friend is making my life a living hell. This was originally posted to True Off My Chest, but was reposted to Best of Reddit updates. Let's begin. There is a trigger warning for this post. The trigger is for verbal abuse, emotional abuse, gaslighting, and bullying. So if that's not for you, you can go ahead, turn this off, and watch something else. But for everyone else who stayed, let's get started. So this post was originally posted on July 8th of 2024, and it says, my fiance has the biggest heart. Would literally give you the shirt, pants, and hat off his body if you ask for it. He's a recovering people pleaser, and I get it because I also used to be a people pleaser. We've been together for 5+ years. A few months ago, I started picking up on his best friend making some nice, not so nice comments towards me. I'm trying to be vague, but let's just say this friend was the type to read who in a room would be most affected by being picked on, and then he picks and picks and picks on them until they can't take it anymore. Nobody ever really holds him accountable for this, and unfortunately, I have somehow become his favorite target. So it already sounds like everyone sucks here. It already sounds like all these friends suck, but let's continue. I tried to put up with these comments, but it started getting really elaborate. The friend would make up lies about me, saying things I never said. He once called me in front of all our friends, my fiance included, just to yell, "You're a bad friend," into the phone and then hang up. There's so much to it that I can't share because I'm trying to be somewhat anonymous. It started having an effect on me and my mental health, and I ended up having a full breakdown where I told my fiance how much this was all starting to hurt me. The first time I broke down over this, he said he would talk to his friend about teasing/messing with me less. He then told me his friend was sorry and that he'd been keeping an ear out for any other comments, and he jumped to my defense if it happened again. A few weeks later, I had a second breakdown over all this. The situation itself was hitting a really specific childhood trauma/trigger for me, and he admitted that his friend didn't actually apologize. He actually said he was sorry I was too sensitive to understand his humor. At that point, I told my fiance my friendship with this person is over, and I want zero contact from here on out, even if it means I have to miss out on events and parties that I'd otherwise love to go to. I got a few choice words for this fiance, but I'll try to get done with this first part first before I give my commentary. He agreed with me that all of this is being done with the intention to get a rise out of me, and that even if we tried to get through to his friend, he's so diabolical that we could never fully trust him to not treat me at least a little bit shitty. Why are you friends? My fiance kept asking if this meant he had to quit the project they were working on. Obviously. I told him I would never tell him he had to because I know how much it means to him. But in all honesty, the fact that this person is treating me so poorly that I'm having physical stress reactions isn't enough for him to want to cut this person off does hurt a lot. The fact that it isn't a deal breaker for him is probably always going to sting a little. He's not confrontational at all, and I always knew that, but it's not about confrontation. It's about standing in my corner, and I can't spend the rest of my life with someone who isn't in my corner. This friend is getting married to my best friend in a few months, and we're both supposed to be in the wedding, but I really have no clue how. I get a literal knot in my stomach anytime his name is ever mentioned now. I've seen this friend one time since all of this came to a head, and he was so over the top nice to me that it came off as cocky. I had the second breakdown a few days afterwards because I realized I'm possibly going to spend the rest of my life on edge and on guard anytime this person is even somewhat in my vicinity, even if they aren't actively fucking with me. I don't know how to come to terms with the fact that my fiance was willing to lie to me on his shitty friend's behalf, but he's not willing to stand in my corner against him. I think it'll always hurt. This guy was supposed to be the best man in our wedding, and as a result, we haven't been talking much about wedding plans. I think if he's still planning on this friend being in our wedding, I may have to call it off for my own sanity, and that sucks so bad. This is fucking eating me alive. I love my fiance so much. I love his big heart and the way he loves with all of it, but he loves some truly wretched people, and I don't know if he'll enforce any boundaries with those people before the lack of boundaries becomes too high for me to handle. I'm just hurt and hurting, and I just want whatever outcome to play out so I can stop feeling so guilty and awful all the time. Okay, so first of all, your fiance sucks. He sucks, he's bad. I don't think he's a recovering people pleaser. I think you're the people pleaser and he's just an asshole. You've had two breakdowns over this. I can't imagine being friends with someone who's caused my partner to have a breakdown, a literal mental breakdown, twice, and still being like, well, do I have to quit the project? Fuck the project, dude. You're about to not get married, you asshole. What's wrong with you? Also, all the friends seem like assholes too. Why are you all just allowing this to happen? You're not in middle school. This isn't high school. You're adults. You can look at him and say, hey, knock it the fuck off. And none of you are. Also, what kind of... I don't understand the fiance on this because he is making your partner cry. I've stopped being with friends with people for much less. I stopped being friends with a guy because he said Star Wars was better than Star Trek. He was wrong and stupid. And we're not friends anymore. I can imagine being friends with someone who made my partner cry. Least of all, have 2 mental breakdowns. No, we're not cool. We aren't friends. What's wrong with you that you want to stay friends with this man who is actively harming your partner, the person you're supposed to marry? Like, what? That's not... What's wrong with you that you think this is cool? I don't like this fiance. You know, maybe there's like a perspective I'm missing, but I can't imagine staying friends with someone who's this awful to someone. The calling just to say you're a bad friend before hanging up is so strange to me. Like, that is... You're in middle school. You still think you're in middle school. That's what it is. Because that can't possibly be something you think is acceptable. It can't be. There's some relevant comments. Someone asked, has OP's fiance defended her in any way? She responded, not necessarily. He's non-confrontational, but he knows the behavior isn't sustainable. He agrees with me that his friend is awful, and with the intention of being awful. They have a project they've been a part of for over a decade, and it means the universe to him, and that's the biggest factor in all of this. He more than likely has to give that up. This entire situation is dog shit, and there are 0 winners except for the asshole. So yeah, fuck the project. You've had a mental breakdown twice over the same guy. Screw the project. My partner is being actively bullied, harmed, and abused by some jackoff who I'm friends with because I don't want to leave a project. Screw you. Screw this guy. I don't like him. You know, there's an update, so something might change, but I don't like him. Someone asked, what does her best friend say about this behavior? It turns out that OP's best friend is in a relationship with the bully, with the asshole. So they're like best friends dating each other's best friends, basically. I have my own feelings toward what she's going through. I think she's being love-bombed and gaslit, and I've seen some proof of it with my own eyes. She was there for the bad friend comment and kind of defended him. I know she's so love-struck she probably is going to choose him, and it kills me, but I'm trying really hard to step back in a way that doesn't totally burn my bridge with her in the end. When he gets that ring on her finger, I have a feeling he will be a different man to her and she'll need support. I'll be there when she needs me. Yeah, that sucks. I keep saying it, but I don't think the fiance is just non-confrontational and used to be a people pleaser. This goes beyond people pleasing. Your fiance, soon to be wife, had a breakdown. And I keep saying it, but like, dude, man up. Someone told the OP that she should just walk away from the relationship entirely, and she said, don't think I'm ready to make peace with this comment quite yet, but I hear it and I'm trying. Right before I met my fiance, I had just cut out a vast majority of people, including one of my closest friends and a blood relative, for making me feel the same shitty small way my fiance's friend makes me feel. It's so much harder to burn those rotten bridges when they're not yours to burn. She also says that's a lot easier to say when you have no stakes in this, my guy. I'm in love with my partner, and I know that this is eating him up just as much as it is me. Trust me when I say he holds himself accountable for his role in this, and we've had many in-depth conversations about how his friend will forever be this way, so long as everybody in his life enables him to be. It's hard to cut someone off even when they deserve it. I'm trying to show my fiance as much grace as I can because I know how hard it is to give up on someone you have always hoped to grow out of their awful behaviors. I mean, obviously he's not, though. Like, it's very clear he is not growing out of it. So why are we still sticking around, you know? Like, what's the benefit here? Because it can't be his friendship. He seems like a terrible friend. Just horrible. We're going to go to the update. The update was posted on August 4th, 2024, and it says, "Never thought I'd actually update this account out of sheer fucking embarrassment, but I wanted to share this for those who encouraged me to put myself first. I want you all to know my partner absolutely came through and protected me in this. We spent all this time since my last post up until last week communicating and trying to find a resolution, and walking through how it got this bad. He took a lot of accountability for that. This is not a case of me giving in. He understands fully that this has not only got so bad because it's never been handled correctly, and he had a major hand in that. There were so many more layers to this than a Reddit post could have been conveyed. The bottom line is we are closer than ever, and after a lot of talking, we decided on my partner sending a firm but not unkind message to his friend explaining the behaviors, explaining that they were hurting his partner and that it needed to stop. He asked to write up the first draft and we could go over it together to try and perfect it. Reddit, please know that the first draft my partner wrote was so spot on, where I need to read, that it instantly shifted us into an us versus the problem mode, when we'd been stuck butting heads for weeks. He laid everything out so clearly and in ways that we hadn't discussed, so I know it came from him. We had to tone down a lot of the big emotions. We truly gave the message its best shot to address the situation without being hostile." Ugh, I can't read that. "We knew the response would be bad no matter what, but I don't think anyone could have fucking prepared us. This man went full scorched earth and blew up everything almost immediately. He insulted my partner. He told him these events didn't happen the way I claim they do. He demanded they meet up alone with a mediator. He even threatened to reach out to my partner's parents to fill them in, which is probably the moment we stopped taking his responses seriously. All of us are almost in our 30s. If once wasn't enough, he threatened it twice. We actually had to call them and warn them that he would be showing up at their place later this week and not to open the door. There's still a good chance he'll attempt it. We stayed respectful throughout all of this, which I feel good about. We didn't stoop to his level, we didn't insult anyone, we asked for basic human respect, and somehow it blew up spectacularly. In the end, we both received a massive wall of text from my now ex-best friend, fully backing up her man and telling her side of the story, which is so insanely far off from what actually happened that all I can do is laugh. We've been shifting from crying to being dumbstruck to just straight up laughing because of the absurdity. I went into this thinking she was brainwashed, but it turns out I was wrong. They're a perfect match, and I wish them all the best. I'm sending them one last message setting the record straight, which my partner and I decided together was the best approach apart from just ghosting, before moving on from this entirely. I'm going to make it very clear that this is done, zero contact indefinitely, and I will never look back. My partner and I both deserve way better friends, and we both see that so clearly now. I am so fucking glad that I learned my friend's true colors before we dropped $800 on a hotel for their wedding. Thank you to everyone who was kind. Not only did I put myself first in the end, but my partner did too. We're going to take this week in stride and process it all, grieve the friendships we once thought were forever, and at the end of the week, we have conveniently timed vacation to my partner's family cottage. I think we're going to come out of this stronger because we already feel it. Again, thank you to those who had something productive to say, and I've made my peace with all the rest. I guess if the guy does something else outlandish, maybe I'll update, but for now, with this chapter being closed, I'm so ready for it to start collecting dust. Yeah, so I guess it's a happy end, you know? It's a happy ending. It is. They've fixed the problem. The fiance stood up for her. But why? My thing is like, why did it take so long? You saw the effect on your partner. You've seen the effects this whole time. Why did it take you this long to finally be like, no, you know what? Now is enough. Why did it take your partner having 2 mental breakdowns for you to finally be like, I don't want to be friends with this person anymore? Or at least to confront them about the behavior. Like, and also all the other friends. If you're you're late 20s, almost in your 30s. You're adults. You're grown people. You're seeing this behavior and you're like, it's not my business. Well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, what's wrong with you? That's so shitty. And I'm not letting the other friends off the hook. You're all adults. Like, any of you could have put a stop to this. None of you did. So, It's making me angry. I'm glad that OP and her fiance are sort of a united front on this, and I'm glad that they've fixed it. But it just rubs me the wrong way that it took him so long to do something. You know? Like, I feel like he should have done something the first time. But here we are. I wish them both a happy marriage. So, for our next story, this was originally posted on Am I the Asshole? It's reposted to Best of Redditor Updates, and it states, Am I the Asshole? There is a trigger warning. Sorry, let me do that first. There's a trigger warning. It is sharing and recording intimate videos without consent and involuntary involvement in kink. This was originally posted July 13th, 2024, and the title reads, Am I the Asshole? Found out my partner recorded me without my consent and shared the recording without my consent. Oh boy. Here we go. Last night, I was out with my boyfriend and we were going to meet up with his 2 married friends. He told me they were swingers and that they were cool people. Not our thing, so I thought that I'm open to hang out with mostly anyone. They were definitely a little flirty, but nothing too crazy. We left the first bar and went to another. While in line waiting for drinks, the wife said, "You have a great ass." I didn't think much of it and played it off as a joke and said thank you. She then continued to tell me she saw the video my partner took of me and repeated intimate, explicit things that were exchanged during sex. Ugh, that's a nightmare. I immediately looked at my partner and must have looked pissed because she immediately apologized to him for spilling the bean. I handed my partner his keys and left the bar. He didn't follow me but texted me. I told him I was outside of the bar a few blocks away waiting for an Uber and that if he wanted to come meet me to talk without his friends he could. He didn't. So I took an Uber back to my part of town and went to a local bar. I needed to have a cocktail and think about the shit show that had just occurred. About an hour later, he texted me asking what I was doing and said he was drunk and leaving a concert. How he got to a concert in the span of an hour at 10 p.m. is beyond me. I told him where I was, and he showed up with the couple he'd sent videos of me to. I pulled him aside and said I felt incredibly violated. I told him that it was not okay that he recorded me without my consent and shared the concert with others. His response was, "Your beauty is amazing, and I wouldn't mind it if it were vice versa." Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I laughed in his face. I reiterated how upset and hurt I was, and he apologized. He came back to my place with me and stayed over. This morning, it all hit me like a ton of bricks, and I started crying in bed. When he asked, I told him why, and his response was, "It's not like I cheated on you," and followed with, "You need to focus your energy on something else." After that, I asked him to leave. I actually feel quite sick over the whole thing, and he doesn't seem to understand that it's a big deal to me. Am I the asshole for being so upset? Fuck this guy. What? I will never understand the male obsession with sharing pictures and videos of your partner with someone else. That doesn't make any sense to me. That is such an obviously private thing that, like, you were absolutely being malicious when you did this. What's wrong with you? To not even ask her about it is so wild. And he was definitely trying to set something up for like a foursome, I guarantee you, without even talking to her. Again, just like with the second story, you have to talk to your partner. You cannot just do things on your own. I shouldn't have to explain that. You're an adult, dude. But, so there's some relevant comments. First person says, "I agree with him. Focus your energy on finding a new partner because this one sucks balls." I agree with that. OOP says, "I broke up with him this morning. I feel so fucking disgusted." And as you should. That's disgusting. He sucks. He's a shitty person. And I feel angry for you that you even had to go through this in the first place. That's it for our stories today. Thanks so much for listening. This podcast is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. If you would like to hear the last 2 stories, feel free to subscribe to my Patreon. You can find me at patreon.com/wannabepersephone. If you have a story you'd like to submit, you can absolutely email me at thatqueenp@gmail.com. A link will be in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.